All right, so I finished the phase 4 of the new view controllers. I'll be real quick. So all this remains the same. There's no next button here, right? This is the same, right? Because it's a human player versus AI. Here's the human player config. Here's the AI config. The next button goes away, but all of these buttons, which used to go to, I'll click this one, they used to go to the game view controller, which contained the game view scene and this HUD and this HUD here. Well, now that's when I click end, here's next thing, that's all wrapped in a game flow and then contain this outside of the navigation view controller, and it had some issues when you flipped back and forth. I don't know if this is apparent in game. It's supposed to be a cross dissolve, but there's no flicker, and there's no, if you could see the, I guess I could move this up. Let's move this up, and you can see the warning messages. There is some, right? But basically all you're seeing now is the view controllers flipping back and forth. So that's good. That was something that I had in my issue log for a long time. I had a hack in there. And so if I drag this over, this stuff, and it came out when I had a long, game, yada, yada, yada. But there was a fix that was in there. And then I had some notes about how to do it differently. That is all done, so I can close this issue. That is closed, and then I can pull up this thing here. So now this is valid, and this shows it's just a generic. There's no code behind it. It's just a navigation controller. The buttons for new, next, and start game, and how based upon what kind of game it is it human versus AI, or AI versus AI, human versus human, how you're going to flow through. And this all works. Right now, the red player is hard-coded to human, or it's selected and disabled for human. But the code to hop down here does work. It's supposed to, actually, before it goes into map settings, it should go over into like Game Center. But you want to bypass this, right? And then if you click next on it, you're supposed to come back and then be able to go, and then it comes down to here. Likewise, if you've got an AI versus AI, you'll run through this twice. The next button will only be, and it currently is, it's only enabled if you're here this time. And we've got now this one does have code behind it, because these are not just triggered segues. These are present modally to put this up, but it's not like this guy and this guy, right? And then as far as the game view controller, he has the game scene, and he has the what do you call it? The two HUDs. If you remember, like, you've got a game HUD in the top right, and you've got a unit HUD that appears when a unit is selected, and this one can come over to the other side. You can toggle it, and that's managed by the game view controller. Originally, my game scene, just I'm gonna be real quick on this, my game scene was huge, right? It was like every day it would be getting bigger and bigger, so I kept splitting stuff out, and you now have about 10 different extensions for the game scene. Well, now that I've got this working as a app in Mac OS, and I've got different gestures and HUDs and all that kind of stuff, it's gotten really big. And so I've split out the gestures, and to be honest with you, it's still over like 1,000 lines of code. So I'm going to move that because I don't like scrolling. I mean, you can go up in the top and hit the bar to jump to functions, but I don't always remember what the function name is. View did load, view will appear, intern, those kind of things I remember. But when you're going between different at UI level and game level, it's kind of hard to remember. It's easier sometimes just to scroll through it, and if you got over 1,000 lines, it's a lot to scroll. So I'd like to split them up. It's kind of human name spacing. So this one will probably split up some. This one I don't really have to worry about. He's pretty simple. So that's that. So that's the next thing I want to do is to work on adding initial placement. If I come back to the game for a second, let's see, where are we? When you do this and you go to this map settings, I want to have an option to say auto placement, yes, or manual placement, so that when you come over here, you don't get this pseudo random deployment. And so, as you'll see, that you got mechanized up on the road. It does have a tendency to go to road, but let's see if it's mechanized or motorized. Yeah, so it's mechanized and light tank. It's the infantry, the motorized mechanized units are usually on the flanks. So one's here and one's there. And there's a motorized and there's a motorized, right? They're usually kept out there. But for whatever reason, you may want to play the game and you want to put them all on the lower road, right? Well, you can't do that currently because there's no initial placement screen. And I want to add that, and that'll probably be the thing that I add next. Or I literally could go to the multiplayer route. I don't know. We'll look and see which one would be harder. This video got a lot longer than I